is Femi Kuti, and you are listening to NYC Radio Live.
You're listening to NYC Radio Live. David Ellenbogen here. So wonderful to join you. I am with a great musician. I'm going to introduce him in just a second. But we want to let you know that we got an amazing live performance from Jay Gandhi to share, and he is performing at the Art Cafe this Wednesday, May 24th, at the Art Cafe and Bar. He's going to be performing a full Hindustani set, something not unlike what we'll hear. And he just had a spectacular performance last night with an amazing all-star group performing the music of Ravi Coltrane. We're going to talk about that. And if you enjoy this, search for more music by Jay Gandhi. You'll find some other great sets here at NYC Radio Live. And I want to let you know that this edition is sponsored by the Rubin Museum of Art, and they have an exhibit coming up June 16th. The World is Sound, and over 20 artists are contributing to a year-long exploration of sound, including October 21st. Put it in your calendar. Raga's Live Festival, 24 hours of Indian classical music, broadcast live from the Rubin Museum, and it will be on this podcast as well. It's going to be incredible, so tune in, and here's my conversation with Jay Gandhi. Thanks for listening. Peace. We are recording here from beautiful Prospect Lefferts Gardens, which is kind of a hub of musicians. In fact, this building alone, it has how many, Jay?
Like maybe 7 or 8 musicians in the building.
Right, and it's only 4 floors. Pretty amazing. I'm sitting here with Jay Gandhi, a really incredible bansuri player, Hindustani tradition, and also last night, I'm really happy for him. He had an incredible night playing with Reggie Workman on bass and Ravi Coltrane on saxophone and Brandy Younger on harp and Tain Watts on drums, Desron on bass. Who else was in the band? Michael McGinnis was playing saxophone. Graham Haynes. Graham Haynes on trumpet.
It was
David Vireyes on keyboards.
And Courtney Bryan also.
Courtney Bryan on keyboards.
Yeah.
I think that was the group.
That was
That was an all-star group tribute to Ravi Coltrane. Really moving. They even had several dancers join the group, and most importantly, it was just really emotionally moving and an incredible amount of communication on the stage. So, what's it like to be on stage? Tain Watts, if the listeners are not aware, is undoubtedly in the very top handful of jazz drummers,
yes,
in the
for sure in the world
living, yeah,
yes.
So
He's
what's
a legend.
Yeah, what's kind of special and different when you're playing with musicians on that caliber? What inspires you, or what happens? I mean,
Well, I think it was the musicians of that caliber, and also the event, the intention of the event to honor somebody like Alice Coltrane, who was all about manifesting love through music, and as a way of healing, and that was what John Coltrane was all about too, and all these musicians who are great masters, they can channel that, and they brought that energy, and so it's very inspiring to me. I just remember the energy even during the sound check, and Ravi was so welcoming, and I remember Tain Watts was just warming up on the drums, and I was like getting goosebumps, and I told him afterwards, I was like, you were just warming up and it sounded like you were singing, just him alone. And so like that, all the musicians there last night, it was such a beautiful group of people, and I was really honored to just be there among them, and be able to offer whatever I can to that ensemble.
Yeah, and Jay was really well received. I mean, there was a lot of cheers after he finished his solo, and also Alice Coltrane. That's a very interesting historical figure, because in terms of who you are as a person, and Indian classical music in America, she and John Coltrane were some of the first jazz people to look in that direction.
Yes.
And I feel that even in the music that she plays that is not very technically Hindustani, I feel an intention thing going on.
Exactly.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you could talk about that.
Yeah, I was actually just talking to somebody about that yesterday, after the show. I think it's really the intention that allows, the shared intention between different kinds of musics that really allow them to come together. And which is why I think I felt comfortable playing with them, because there was this shared essence that was trying to be explored, this shared expression of love, and I feel like both John Coltrane and Alice Coltrane were inspired by some of the intentions that have emerged in India behind music, as a spiritual quest, as a means to the ultimate. And that's why I feel like their music has always pulled at me and so many people around the world in this deep way.
Yeah, could you talk about that in terms of the Hindustani music, and the intention side, and maybe I know that you are a disciple of Hari Prasad Teresia, who's
also a living legend of this instrument and of Indian music.
And so what I don't know if has he gotten explicit about that intention side, and if not, I mean, just what do you feel about when this music is at its best? What is it trying to achieve, and maybe how does it go about doing that?
I think so. My Guruji he talks more through his music and playing, but he also mentions it once in a while that you play for yourself, and in playing for yourself, you play for the universe, you play for everybody. But basically, that essence within each one of us is everything. It's the essence behind everything. So that's when you play for yourself in that way, that music that emerges from that space can connect with everybody. And I think a lot of music in India has, a lot of classical music in India has that as its intention to really go deep in an introverted way, in a meditative way. It's like almost a kind of yoga, in the spiritual sense of yoga. So, I think if that answers your question.
Yeah, no, it does. And maybe that's enough. Maybe it's time to just turn over the listeners to hear your recording. But maybe let's just touch on some of the other styles of music that have touched you equally to raga, and maybe it's because they have those shared deep intentions or have been developed. I mean, because one thing that makes you a unique artist, besides excelling in Hindustani music, is that you've allowed you to become you as a Indian musician, but born in America, and so there's a lot more in your vocabulary as a musician and as a person. So what else has kind of touched you and
Yeah, I mean, I grew up in this country in America, and I grew up exposed to a lot of different kinds of music, and I feel like all the music that I've been drawn to is pretty much very soulful, and like I love, of course, Coltrane. We talked about him, and any music that involves surrender, even like I'm a big fan of Ray Charles, for example, and Aretha Franklin, and all. So even in the pop genre, there's the entertainment aspect, but there's also this artistic and surrender aspect, which these musicians have in their music, and Nina Simone, and so many musicians, Miles Davis, and Ali Farka Touré. There's so many musicians from all around the world that have this soulful aspect, which really, that's music to me.
Right. I mean, that's been another nice element of your career as it's developing in Brooklyn. Is you've had some really great collaborations with various African musicians. We did that great session with Noura Mali.
Yes, yeah, beautiful musician from Mauritania, amazing singer.
And Awasango.
Right.
So yeah, you've found a way to bridge that gap like really naturally, I think.
Yeah.
Well, okay, I bet the people are really curious to hear what you actually sound like. Although listeners of this radio station podcast have probably caught a lot. So we'll be maybe you set up this performance that we're going to hear.
Oh yeah, sure, let's do it.
Yeah, so like what raga is it? Where's it from?
So I think we'll play a little recording from a live concert from a few years ago. Rag Miyaki Malhar. It's a monsoon raga, and there are a few other pieces after that. I'm not sure what's on the recording, but we'll hear it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Thanks for listening.
Thank you so much.